So it's October 11th, 2016. It's Veterans Day. Not only did I want to do something special for a veteran that I know, but is also a cancer survivor that's been through stage 4 throat cancer. His name is Frank Billy. Frank Billy has been a spiritual, mental, physical mentor to me ever since I found out I had cancer. The guy didn't screw around. He instantly messaged me, and gave me words of advice that really helped me out, especially during the first couple of weeks when you're going through that whole shock and awe stage of when you first find out you have cancer. And I wanted to do something special, not only for him, but for some other guys that I have in mind, like John Lester and a few other guys that I plan on doing and follow-up videos after this. I can't do them all in one shot, but I'd like to start out with Frank here and maybe help out a few other guys if possible. Not sure exactly what I can do, but there is something I can do, and that's to start a fundraiser through a PayPal me account, which I'm going to give you more information here soon. So, Frank Billy is not only a Vietnam veteran, and there's a lot to the guy that I simply can't tell you, and don't take my word for it. Message him, friend him, and get to know the guy. And I highly advise doing that because he really is an amazing person, and I would expect you to do that. So rather than me just standing here rambling on, I put some of my thoughts and words down on paper that I would like to read to you while I'm showing you his Facebook page, and I'll let you make up your own mind. But I think if it was to pick one person that could really use some financial help, Frank Billy definitely be one of them. So let me just quick read you something I put down on paper here. One thing is for sure, since joining Facebook and now being diagnosed with cancer, I've met so many amazing people going through the same battles as myself that it really opens your eyes that most of us just walk past in our daily routines. I got to admit I'm guilty of this myself prior to my diagnosis of cancer, and it's too bad that it took being diagnosed with cancer for God to open my eyes to the daily struggles most of us never see behind closed curtains. And since then, I've met some of the most amazing and interesting people that I'm glad to call my friends. So being that it's Veterans Day, and I want to give back to others that have already helped me with my own battle fighting cancer, a good friend and mentor of mine on Facebook, Frank Billy, which is not only a Navy veteran in Vietnam, but also a cancer survivor himself, could really use some prayers and help from us Second Amendment blood brothers and sisters that follow my YouTube channel and Facebook pages on Elster's Rifles and Reloading. Regardless if you're in the Rifles and Reloading, Democrat or Republican, or even regardless of who you voted for in this election last Tuesday, there comes a time when we all need to put that aside and help others with their sorrows and financial hardships. I really want to give back to others that have already helped me, even though I'm still going through my own battles with cancer this very second. And I'll be damned if I'm going to wait until I'm better to take action right now. Like I've said before in my previous videos, there's always someone in this world that has it worse than you, including myself, and needs not only help through prayer spiritually, but also financially, as we have all been through tough times in our lives, and I'm sure we can all relate to this. My good friend Frank Billy, which has already given enough to this nation fighting for our rights that we all enjoy to this very day, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer of his voice box in 2012. And over a period of 2 years, going in and out of hospitals for surgery, chemo, radiation, and other miscellaneous procedures, was cured of cancer. And he told me to never give up when I first started my own battle with cancer. Although he was cured of his cancer, which he has given me so much hope beyond words to this very day, he is still living with the repercussions of his past battles with cancer. And he had to completely relearn how to breathe, eat, and talk, being that his voice box was removed. Due to the financial burden, Frank and his wife started a rent-to-own contract on their house, which they just paid off in October 2016. And to make matters worse, the person he was doing the rent-to-own on their house still owes money on the mortgage, even though their last payment was made. So they need to hire a lawyer, which obviously takes a retainer and beyond. I've learned a lot mentally, physically, and spiritually from Frank, and I felt compelled to help him start a PayPal Me fundraiser account under PayPal.me/FBilly101, in which I'll put in the description box below this video and also on my Facebook page, Elfster's Rifles and Reloading. If you'd like to make a kind donation, feel free to message me any questions. And like I said before, especially if you're in the rifles and reloading and marksmanship, I would highly suggest messaging and friending Frank Billy, because he really is an amazing man with an amazing history, and there's a lot more to the man that I simply cannot tell you. Like I said, he is a Vietnam vet, and there's a lot more to the man beyond those words, and the only way to know that is to simply talk to him. Enough said, let's get this video going.
Cancer treatments are approved for tomorrow, huh? What do you think? You can stand being here by yourself for a week? He's totally just gonna go to sleep on my pillow. Buddy, you can't sleep there. Right? Is that where you're gonna sleep? Hey, we gotta get up early in the morning. Well, it's Tuesday, November 8th. We're back on the road again for our 2-hour adventure, and it's the start of my first proton treatment. I gotta admit, I'm not nervous one single bit. I'm actually kind of excited, and I'm just ready to get this going. And you know I have 22 total proton treatments left to go after today and the surgery, and I've yet to really scratch the surface of this adventure that I'm on. But I'm not scared one single bit. And I know that might sound crazy, but I'm just done with the shock and awe of all of this, and I just want to get this going. So let's just take this right to the hospital. Man, I wish I knew the subway rules here. First day of kicking this cancer's ass. Let's do this. So if you're watching this video more for the purpose of getting proton treatments yourself, and obviously they wouldn't let me video record in the proton treatment room, which, you know, I totally get that. But to try and explain it as best as possible, and obviously it's going to be completely different for everybody depending on where the tumor is located in your body. You know, obviously for me, my tumor is in my neck, so they had to completely strap my face and head down with this face mask and part of my shoulders to immobilize me. But regardless, I guess what really stood out for me the most were the sounds that you experience as you're going through the proton treatment. And you know, there's three real distinct sounds that you're gonna hear as you're going through this process. One would be the actual table that you lay on itself that spins around in 360 degrees. And I know this sounds really crazy and funny, but if you're a Star Wars fan and you're familiar with the Star Wars movies, you know, when the doors open and shut and they make that really hydraulic sound, it sounds very similar to that. In terms of the actual gantry that holds the proton scanner itself, you know, this gantry is humongous. It weighs well into the many tons. I don't know exactly how much it weighs, but I think they said it weighed 10 tons. I'm not positive. But as it spins around the table itself, it sounds like the combination of a garage door opener and a roller coaster. So, with the actual proton scanner itself that the gantry holds and actually scans the tumor itself with proton radiation, that actual process doesn't take long. It only takes like 5 minutes, and it's very silent. You can barely hear it. And it sounds very similar to someone scratching their fingernails on wood. And you can hear the proton scanner scanning the tumor itself. You know, it starts out very light and short, and as it scans the tumor, depending on how big it is, the actual sound of the scanner gets longer and longer, and there's a little break between the scans as it scans the tumor in lines, I think. I could be wrong on that, but that's what it sounds like. It sounds like fingernails being scratched on wood. So I know it's hard to explain it, and they wouldn't let me video record in there, which I 100% understand that, but that's what stood out the most for me were the sound effects, especially being I had a face mask on and my eyes are closed and I can't see what's going on. So I hope that helps, but if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to leave some questions in the comment section below.
and I'll try to answer them as soon as I possibly can.
So I just got done with my first treatment, and it was about 45 minutes long. The actual setup, putting me down on the board and putting my face mask on, actually lasted longer than the treatment itself. So it was interesting. The actual treatment was from 3 different angles. I was probably on the proton table for about 45 minutes. Like I said, it took actually longer to actually get it set up to actually than actually doing the radiation treatment itself. So yeah, I'll say in total about 45 minutes, maybe 50 minutes you're on that table from start to finish. So it wasn't too bad, but you know, the pain is coming back in my right arm, and you know, after about 50 minutes of holding onto that handle, the pain is pretty severe in my right thumb. So it's interesting. So other than that, I'll talk to you later. Bye. So I just gave my 2 samples of blood. In order for cancer research, so other people don't need to go through the same crap as me. Bells are back to ringing. So I gave my 2 samples of blood for cancer research. I signed up for. You know, if I can help just one person by giving those samples, and hopefully this tumor they have to remove out of my neck helps one person, I'll be happy. You know, hopefully, you know, I'm the miracle man, and they can find a cure for cancer in my blood. So let's see here. So we're gonna go have something to eat at this fresh food studio. And if you're new to Rochester, their food is amazing. Say hi to everyone.
Hello.
Not a bad room for $19. Getting first class service. Right, honey? This is how much my lady loves me. I'm getting first class service. Honey, just follow the signs. That's all you gotta do. It's not an excuse.
No, I really can't see that.
Okay, so
Everything's a blur.
the Jacobson building's coming up here to the left.
You keep an eye out.
It's like you get lost not only with GPS, but actual signs that tell you where to go.
I am not wearing my glasses.
It's not an
It
excuse.
is an excuse if you have my eyes.
Babe, how much do you love me?
I should ask for a job.
How much do you love me?
I love you very much. I should be holding here so I don't.
Honey, we already look ridiculous. Right.
Feel it right here.
Lucky you, let me out here. Okay. You're not gonna push me again?
Spoiled, rotten liver.
You're not, honey, I just got radiated, so you need to push me around.
Where are we going?
Oh, we're going to Uganda. So just follow the signs, lady.
Little delay.
That poor lady has got to push this guy around. Little they know I'm
Yeah, little delay. No,
fully
he's
capable of
perfectly
walking.
Fine.
Well, honey, you're getting your exercise for the day. Put it that way.
Going up,
Thank you very much.
8th floor. Going up.
Different before and after.
You really,
So
I don't think you're going to feel a big difference. Radiation traditionally can lead you to just feel washed out
Yeah.
and just sort of like you're getting over a flu. But it usually doesn't kick in until after you've had a lot more of it. But the other issue is the proton is so focused that the scatter dose to other areas is going to be minimal for you. I don't expect you to feel those.
Yeah.
Well, we got a date for you at the end of the month, and let's just kind of talk about things. We wanted to go over it. So this is kind of a model of you, and this will be the back of your head. It comes down to your spine. So if we have you laying on your stomach, you got a thing that's kind of right about there for you, right?
yeah,
And sort of right about there.
yeah,
And now, as we approach this with a chondrosarcoma, our goal is always, if possible, to take a chondrosarcoma out kind of one big piece, because any place we have to violate it, we worry that tumor could be spilled.
yeah.
And that's what we do if it's in the arm or the leg or a rib or something like that.
A wide resection.
Wide resection,
Yeah.
exactly. The trouble is your spinal cord's right there.
Yeah,
And thus we have to adapt for that. And so the way that we adapt for that is we do a resection which is wide in the areas which are away from the spinal cord.
yeah,
And so if we look at you like this right here, we'll do a wide resection, and our team will be sort of taking the lead on some of this around all of this area right here. Then when it comes to the bony aspect of things, Kraus is going to take over. We'll work with him, but at any given time there can only be one person
yeah,
running the show, and that'll be him. Because to protect your spinal cord and the nerves, it's going to be necessary that he very carefully split the tumor in that area
Yeah.
to get to the spinal cord. The reason why you're having the run-in with proton is we know that if we split the tumor, there may be seeds that are spilled. And we've learned that if you give it proton first, it's just,
make it dormant.
you kind of make it dormant so
Yeah.
that they won't implant. That's exactly right. And so I just wanted, we've got a firm surgical date, we've got a firm surgical plan, because when you and I spoke before, things were a little bit preliminary still. We wanted just to talk to you again and go over any questions you had. So what plays into it? So on the day of surgery, you come in real early, you go to sleep, all that stuff. Our team will actually probably get started.
Yeah.
Our team will get started moving, opening up the envelope of flesh in the back and taking things out and getting around it in this wide fashion. Once you've got that, then what Dr. Kraus is going to do is he's going to get to the normal bone above, the normal bone below, and work together. That's how we do this.
Yeah,
You don't just start charging down through
Yeah.
the abnormal, because before you know it, you're where you don't want to be.
mm-hmm.
You find the normal above it and the normal below it, and you work together. And he and I will probably do some of that jointly.
Mm-hmm.
Once that's done, the next step is going to be, we know that cancer is right up against the nerves of the spinal cord.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're also planning some special radiation to be done actually in surgery on that.
Yeah, Peterson mentioned that with a plaque.
Yeah, so she and I measured that out the other day. What that amounts to is, it's a radioactive membrane. It's about the thickness of like a really thick Ziploc sandwich bag, like the really heavy duty ones for
Yeah.
putting stuff in the freezer.
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of those. And it's impregnated with a material that gives a very, very short length radiation.
Mm-hmm.
And so what will happen is, we'll lay it on the surface of the spinal cord, and it can give a high dose of radiation right to the surface where tumor was.
Within millimeters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then the nerves, which are a few millimeters in, don't see the dose.
Yeah, she explained that to me.
Yeah. And then, so once that's done, here, we should make a list of what we're doing. So the first thing that always happens with any big surgery is a setup. And the setup for this surgery is going to take probably at least 90 minutes for you.
Okay.
You can have a sheet of paper.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next part is going to be what I'll just call the wide dissection of the flesh. And that'll be us. Then there's going to be the removal of the tumor off the spinal cord.
Which you said you're most likely have to split in half, right?
Yep. And that'll be Krauss.
Okay.
Then there's going to be the radiation of the surface of the spinal cord. And that'll be Dr. Peterson. I'm using everyone's initials.
Yeah. It's a whole crew of MDs, right?
Yeah, there's one you haven't even met yet. The next is going to be what's
Plastic
called...
surgeon.
Yep, exactly. That'll be number 6. Next is what's going to be called the reconstruction. And this is it's nuts, bolts, and bone graft. What that's doing is it's doing a fusion procedure in the area to regain the stability that's lost with numbers 1 through 4.
Yeah. 2 vertebrae above, 2 vertebrae below.
At least.
Okay.
And that'll be Krauss deciding what he thinks is best for them. And then finally, there's going to be the plastic surgery. For what amounts to tissue transfer.
And which doctor is that?
That's Dr. Carlson.
Who's that?
Dr. Carlson.
Carlson. Okay.
What's Carlson's initial? L?
Brian.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
We'll just give him first and last.
Yeah.
Okay.
I double checked with my insurance too, and they're covered under his network too.
Yeah,
So.
that'll be fine. And the truth is here, it's just if you're 1 year old,
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
separate it out.
Okay.
T.
Ah, I wonder if that is.
I don't know.
Okay, once we take this out, there's an empty space there, right? Because all this stuff goes away, there's a big empty space.
Yeah.
You need something to help you heal up that empty space.
Exactly.
And what Carlson is an expert at doing, and we've worked with him in this capacity many times, is taking some healthy tissue from the region or other areas and move it into that area. That healthy tissue fills the empty space, you can heal up well.
Yeah.
That healthy tissue also has not been a part of the radiation exposure, and so it's got the maximal healing potential. What that amounts to is, you've got these muscles here, your trapezius muscles on either side that help you. They're one of the number of muscles that help you shrug.
Yeah.
He can sort of shift those in and back. And then you have a muscle on your back. It starts here, and it goes flat on your back like this. It helps you sort of do an overhead tennis serve. And the truth is, if we get your cancer out, your wound healed up well, and you're not quite as good at doing an overhead tennis serve, we'll call that a win.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he may talk to you about transferring some of those muscles. That's called the latissimus muscle. There are a number of different things at his disposal,
Okay.
which he can use to transfer up into that area. And that's the tissue transfer. And the whole goal is to bring healthy tissue up to the area so you fill the empty space where the cancer was, and you have good, healthy, soft tissue that's got a great healing potential to heal the wound. Because healing your wound is a big deal after this.
Yeah.
And if the wound heals itself together rapidly, then everything's fine. But if healing's delayed for any reason, and the wound remains sort of open or porous, then you're worried that
back shatters.
yeah, bacteria can make their way in. So Carlson's our guy for that.
Okay.
So that's kind of, then at the end there's set down, just as they're set up. By the time you put all this together, it's a full day's worth of work, to tell you the truth. And that's okay. You're going to be asleep for the whole thing.
Like how many hours do you think?
That'll be the full day.
Really?
Yeah.
Like over 12 hours?
You know, it's hard to say how long each step is going to be. I
Yeah.
would just say it's the full day
Okay.
for things. There's going to be, in each step, there's different people who are sort of taking the lead on that step.
Mhm.
But again, there's overall one main captain of the ship, and that'll be Kraus, and he's
Yeah.
a great captain for this for you.
Mhm.
With things. But I just wanted to have a chance to visit with you again now that we've got kind of a
Yeah.
complete plan so that we're all on board as to what's coming for you.
Yeah, all the tingling's gone out of my feet.
Good deal.
I've been eating super healthy.
Yep,
I've been going on bike rides.
great.
So I've been preparing myself.
You
for
couldn't
this,
do anything better than those things.
So I've been eating turmeric and broccoli and spinach and you
Yeah.
name it, man.
Perfect.
I feel like $1,000,000. Other than this last week, I have been getting a little pain coming in my right arm, and it kind of comes and goes.
There is tumor that's kind of pinching the nerve there.
Yeah.
So
But otherwise, I feel amazing,
perfect.
and so I'm ready to rock and roll.
We're going to get this out at the end of the month, okay?
Yep,
All
yep.
right, sir. Well, any other questions for us?
Not really. How do you feel about the stoppment of the proton treatments and having like roughly 5 to 6 day window?
Oh, that's fine. Yeah,
That's gonna be fine.
That's fine.
Okay.
yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Okay. So, and then how many days do you think I'll be in the hospital? 5 days.
Yeah, at least probably. It depends a little bit what
The plastic
what
surgery.
the plastic surgeons guys do. Sometimes they really put you on ice for a little while to let all the swelling settle down before you start getting
So
around.
probably a solid week plus.
I would be prepared for that.
Okay.
It may not be that you have to be in the hospital every one of those days. Maybe part of that's in the hospital and part of it's just sort of hanging out in town,
Mhm.
road testing outside of the hospital, being sure you're okay before be sure you're okay in the
Mhm.
area before you make the big trip back
Mhm.
home.
So after the week in the hospital, how many weeks do you think it'll be at home recovery until they start up the next 11 proton treatments?
We usually want to give things a good solid 6 weeks or so
Okay.
to.
So
be sure-
definitely in the next year for the next proton treatments.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be too definitive for a
Yeah.
number of steps down the road, but honestly, we usually our goal is about 6 weeks or something.
Yeah,
like this
fully
to get you
heal
back
up
started.
before you start nailing it again.
Yeah.
So okay. And then once you remove that muscle and you try to get as it's not a wide resection, but it's a limited resection.
It's as
right?
wide as practical,
Yeah.
I think, is be the best way to put it.
How does the proton gun, like specifically, does it start to specifically go around the spinal bone area? I mean, how does that target
Yeah.
now being that there's no tumor to target anymore?
They do, one, we sit down as a team and talk about where we need to treat, and two, they remap everything for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you have any other questions? That's about it, right? Yeah.
All right.
So, well, I appreciate it.
Listen, it's great to see you again, okay?
Thank you.
Honey, I don't care what muscle they remove from my back. You're not wiping my butt. Okay?
What if you can't get it wet?
I'll get the wet and I'll take
You
it.
better go buy, what is it?
Oh.
Bidet?
I'll get a bidet.
Bidet. A bidet.
No,
That's what it's called.
you will not be wiping my ass. I'll get a bidet before that happens.
You just use a squirt bottle.
I will. I'll get a hose. I'll just I'll run the hose from outside.
I'll bring you outside and I'll spray it down.
Honey, you're not wiping my ass. I will get a hose from outside. I will bring you know what? I'll get a hose off the laundry tub in the basement, and we'll set up a temporary shower before you ever wipe my butt. So get that, dude. You know what? I think you want to wipe my butt,
One
don't
day
you?
you're gonna be like, alright, Ellie, I really need your help.
You want to wipe my butt,
And then I'll
don't
be
you?
like, well, I can't. I'm gonna replay your video back to you.
I get the feeling that you really want to wipe my butt, don't you?
Just so that I can say that you asked for my help.
You want to wipe my butt, don't you? Just say it. Just say it.
It'd make me feel better. Because then I can prove you wrong.
I'm gonna make my own bidet. I'm gonna make an improved bidet out of a hose and some type of plastic tub in the basement.
Alright.
Yeah. So proton therapy is going great. They're really helpful down there. It's a pretty amazing situation they got down there. I'm pretty impressed. So And I want to let you know I appreciate everything you've done so far too. So I know
That's what we do.
you got a lot on your plate. So
Well, I got Dr. Rose involved early, and I think that's probably for the best.
yeah, and I appreciate you
Yeah.
for getting that squared away. So.
Yeah, I think so. I think, in looking through everything, this is the best shot at getting this thing under control.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of my own research, and I 100% agree with what's going on.
Well, and the stuff online is not going to reflect kind of stuff that we've been doing here that just hasn't been published.
Yeah.
So the whole goal, and as long as we're here face to face, the whole goal, and I know Dr. Rose probably showed you with the drawing or whatever, is to kind of get a margin around this, at least where we can.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of spots down deep where we're not going to be able to. We'll get it and then close it up. And part of the reason I got him is because he is really good at getting the muscle margins.
Yeah.
And not only that, there's going to be a reconstruction we have to do when we're done with some screws and rods, which shouldn't take very long.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then I did talk to Peterson. We talked about the whole plaque thing.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the in-spot. Now the actual plaque sounds like it's radiated, right? They don't actually do like a radiation beam thing. It's just the plaque is radiated, right?
They got a beta.
Yeah.
You know anything about radiation?
A little bit. It is the. They're doing the proton therapy now, but the actual plaque they're using is actually based on the photons or the electrons, right? Yeah. So it sounds like it's like almost like a cellophane that they wrap around the spinal cord or something like that.
Over the tissue, it's just laid in there next to it. And that's something we make a decision at surgery to how it has to be conformed in there.
Yeah.
But again, this is not. Yeah. So that's the plan.
Yeah. So, I know they were talking about doing that 3D model too. I don't know.
It's not made yet.
Okay.
It takes forever.
Interesting. So I'm just curious to kind of see it. So.
Yeah, well, I am too, but it's to my knowledge, it's not ready yet unless I'll see if Dr. Rose has got it. If when we get it, we'll just send you a digital picture of it.
Okay.
If you're not here, but the truth is they end up. Did I show you the one from the office?
No. Oh yeah. You did show me the other example from the other man. Yeah.
Yeah.
You did show me that one.
Yeah, it just takes a while. They
Yeah.
really, that thing it gets put down layer by layer of plastic, and it takes a while to build it up. So
Yeah, but
once we get it,
Rose went pretty detailed. I even made a list of what was going to be entailed. What you and him and Peterson and the plastic surgeon was doing. So
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing?
But I think we've got a date set aside, and we'll get it done.
Yeah, the 30th. So yeah. So.
Okay. Well, I think you'll see once we. Yeah, I think this was just the best possible thing to do with this, and so. Did you see the plastics yet? Or you seeing them
right after this?
So go up and see plastics about it and
Mm-hmm.
talk to you. Part of the thing is when we start taking stuff like this out, we have to get good tissue coverage over it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the best solution is to rotate a muscle in and things like that. And Carlson can tell you some of the strategies for doing that.
Yeah, Rose kind of touched base on that what we talked about.
But the more living, because we have to take out some normal tissue that would normally cover this area. So the more living tissue we can pull in over it, the better.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. So, the truth is that on the 30th, 29th, if you come down and you have questions, we'll make an appointment for you, and Rose, I'm sure, would see you too.
Yeah, sure. So, okay. I know I kind of keep on asking this question, but just for my family, they're kind of curious how long you think the surgery might be. Just get totally guessing.
Surgery?
Yeah.
6 to 8 hours.
6 days, right. So.
Hospitalization, if everything goes well, we don't have any issues, 4 days.
Okay.
Maximum.
Okay.
So, and the surgery might be quicker, but that's my guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just trying to give them an idea of it. So,
Yeah, sure.
Sure. So, how do you feel everything's progressing so far? So.
This is perfect.
Okay. Good.
This is going to be the best way to get rid of this, okay?
Yeah.
It's never, there's never...
There's no guarantees. I get
No,
that.
I know. I'm not trying to say that. There's no perfect solution for everybody, but I think for this one and what we're dealing with, this is the best thing for it.
Yeah, you've been amazing down there so far with the with Ivy Peterson and the mask and that I'm in and out of there like in less than 45 minutes.
Well, you're lucky that you live here
Yeah,
or close by.
yeah,
Because I can tell you is in a lot of parts of the country, if you had that tumor, you would have gone in, they would have taken it, they would have taken you straight to surgery, they would have taken it out completely, and then you'd be dealing with it. It would be a much more bigger problem for
Yeah.
you later in life.
coming back. Yeah,
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 yeah. So,
yeah.
And then this will be what you need to come in that day. So on the 30th, it's with Kraus, Rose, and Carlson. It'll be at St. Mary's Hospital. I'm certain it's going to be first thing in the morning.
Okay.
But they do always ask the night before that you call in at 8:15 p.m., this number. They'll want your clinic number and your birthday, but then they tell you the time to be at the hospital.
Okay, just to verify it.
Generally, it's going to be about 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And then we have you shower with this soap to help reduce infection.
Okay.
There's 2 packets. You use one the night before
Okay.
and the other one the morning of the surgery.
Okay.
Don't want to get this in your eyes, so just focus on putting it on the back of your neck and across your upper back and shoulders.
Okay.
You have to fast for 8 hours, so stop eating at midnight.
Okay.
When you wake up, you can have clear liquids. There's a list here. You can have anything that's on here. If you do coffee, don't put milk or creamer in it.
Okay.
And then you know where St. Mary's is at.
Yep.
It's the main entrance.
That's where I got my biopsy done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the main entrance is off of 14th Avenue. You'll check in at admissions when you get there.
Okay.
This is some post-op stuff. I might have given you some of this, but I'll just give it to you now. We'll talk about this more in the hospital.
Okay.
But generally, if we're gonna want x-rays in about 6 weeks, and then an MRI in 3 months after the surgery, just so
Okay.
you know.
Just,
And we automatically set those up.
Okay. Okay.
All right,
Alrighty.
that's all I have.
All right. Well, I appreciate
And
all
you-
your hard work so far.
You've
so-
got the appointment with Dr. Carlson.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm Brian Krause. I'm one of the plastic surgeon.
Okay.
Helping Dr. Krause and Dr. Rose.
Sure.
And we were looking at your imaging and kind of your story.
Okay.
But you can explain to me. You had some back and shoulder pain.
Yeah.
It took a
So.
while to figure out. Picture of your back. Your tumor is about right here.
Yeah.
And so that Dr. Krause and Dr. Rose will together do a very careful resection of that. But they have to take a margin of tissue around the tumor,
Yeah.
as you understand.
Mm-hmm.
So they will be taking muscle and bone and everything they need to obviously preserve
A wide
the spinal
resection,
cord, a wide
yeah.
resection. And so when they do that, there's an empty space where that tumor was.
Mm-hmm.
And I can show you. You probably have seen your MRI. This is left. So when this is removed, there's going to be an empty space there,
Yeah.
and that
You just need to slide a muscle.
we
into
need
it.
to fill that space somehow. Otherwise, that's going to fill up with fluid and get infected. And we sometimes need some protection between the skin that's going to be over the top and the bone that's
Yeah.
left behind and the hardware.
Yeah. Yeah. You just can't remove a fist-sized tumor.
Yeah,
Just
but
leave
also
it.
they're going to probably stabilize the spine. Did
Yeah.
they talk to you about that?
Yeah, they're gonna fuse it.
Yeah, so with fusion requires hardware in there,
Mhm.
and the hardware we need to protect from.
Yeah.
We make sure it has healthy tissue over the top of
Yeah.
it.
Plus, I talked to Ivy Peterson. They're making a special radiation plaque to go over my
Okay.
spinal cord during the treatment.
Hmm.
So I don't know if they discussed that with you, obviously, but
For post-operative radiation too.
during the surgery.
Oh, they're gonna.
She-
Is this?
I don't know who Ivy Peterson is.
She's a radiation oncologist, but I'm just wondering.
So they're gonna make.
They're gonna put that in, and then, but we don't do radiation. The reason I'm confused by this because
the plaque itself is radiated.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like a piece of cellophane they're wrapping around my spinal cord.
Okay.
And this special plaque is radiated to kill off any
And that
seeds.
just stays in you.
No, it kills off any seeds of the chondrosarcoma itself, and then I believe they removed that. But that might be something you want to discuss with them. So for what I've been told, they're, obviously Kraus and Rose working together, remove the tumor, do the wide resection to fuse my neck, and then Peterson is making the special shaped plaque to go over my spinal cord to kill any, because obviously I can't do a wide resection over my spinal cord, obviously, so she's making a special plaque to go over to lay over my spinal cord itself, and then it sounds like they remove that because it's radiated, and that'll be during the surgery itself. So at least that's the way I was told. So. So this whole 11 proton treatments before, and then I do 11 proton treatments after the surgery, and then they're doing this in procedure situation with this special made plaque.
Okay.
Because the way Dr. Rose explains how it's the chondrosarcoma, it has these hair follicles that stick out of the tumor, plus these satellite seeds that if they don't kill it all off, it could come back. Because right now it's a grade 1, it can come back as a grade 2, and if it does come back, it comes back worse, the way he explained it to me. So that's why they're doing this in surgery plaque.
They remove it, Ty.
Yeah. So.
They don't leave it in there.
Yeah.
It's removed on the
It's removed.
same day.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's just in there.
It's like in there for.
It's in there. They do the treatment and they remove it.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, okay,
same
I
day.
gotcha. Oh, I get
So
you.
it doesn't stay in there.
So once they remove
Yeah.
the tumor, because it's actually literally bending my spinal cord, and
No,
that's why
I
I get
know.
the tingling in my feet.
Yeah.
And then once it expands, then they put this plaque on, and then they remove it just to kill off anything that was touching my spinal cord.
I get you. All right. It's just it's a new one to me, but.
Which
But
for you,
but I understand.
Yeah.
You were explaining it to me.
So when this is all done, you know, I'm gonna.
But so that sounds like something we
Yeah.
could do at St. Mary's. So
Yeah.
anyway, so the muscles we have to move to fill that area are the trapezius muscles.
Yeah.
You know, you're a bodybuilder, so you probably are familiar
Yes,
with the trapezius
yes.
muscle and
Yeah.
the latissimus dorsi muscle, which is what Dr. Rose suggested. The problem with the latissimus is this is a long reach from here to
Yeah.
here. We might be able to do it. We may have to detach it from the arm, which may be difficult. I think probably what we'll end up doing is using one or both of the trapezius muscles, whatever is left.
Yeah.
Perhaps even, so some of this will be removed, but flipping up part of it and then advancing this part over to it so that we have those muscles over the top. You may have some, I don't think you will have some contour abnormalities back there as a result. This shouldn't, cosmetically, sometimes if you don't have trapezius, it can look a little bit funny, but we're not planning on touching the upper trapezius.
And this is something we've done before.
Yeah, everyone is a little bit different, but
Yeah.
I do a lot of this kind of work here, and a lot of tumors in this area, and I've done both where we've flipped the trapezius up
Yeah.
and a lot more of just advancing the trapezius muscles to the midline. So yeah, those are very common operations for me to do here. But yours is a little bit different in that we'll have to take some of the trapezius. So we will suture it in place.
Okay.
And typically it doesn't need a lot of sutures, just needs a few to hold it in place. Because it's not under tension or anything. Once we've immobilized it, it's kind of floppy and we can flop it in there.
Okay.
This is more than you need to know.
Okay. Yeah.
More than you
Yeah.
want to know, probably. But what does it mean for you, and why is it important that we meet ahead of time? Well, if we do that, that muscle doesn't grow back. You know, that you lose that muscle function forever.
Yeah. Just
Which-
no shoulder shrugs for at least a year.
Well, you may want to take some time off from shoulder shrugs. Sometimes when we move it over, we leave it attached to the spinal or the scapula, which you can't see in this picture, but the scapula is just down there. The shoulder blade is the scapula, and so actually this image here. So the scapula is here, the spine of the scapula. So if we leave it attached there, you would be able to shoulder shrug.
Yeah.
And we may end up immobilizing your arms back a little bit to take tension off.
Okay.
of the muscle.
Yeah.
So that could be uncomfortable for you. We also leave drains in place that patients don't like very much.
Yeah. Okay.
To allow to prevent fluid from accumulating and
Infection.
therefore preventing the muscle to heal where it needs to heal. So
Yeah.
if that fills up with fluid, it's not going to be where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So to keep the fluid out, we just have drains in that keep the tissues suction together. And if we take the latissimus is a big strong muscle that helps pull the arm down,
Yeah.
pull it back, and then internally rotate the shoulder like this.
Okay.
So you would still be able to do each of those activities
Yeah.
or motions, but they would be weak.
Okay.
So like lat pull downs or pull ups or rock climbing or something
Yeah.
like that, you would be weak.
Okay. All right.
So that's what's important that I've been able to explain to you before.
Okay.
We don't have a lot of choice in the matter. It's not
Yeah.
like I can explaining to you and you have to make a decision. It's kind of, this is what we have to do.
Yeah, I get
You
it.
just need to
Yeah.
understand.
Well, that was the third treatment. By far the hardest one. My right arm is in pure pain right now. Right thumb is tingling. Good. Just my right arm hurts. No, I think I'm fine. I just gotta give me a second. His treatment Thursday. My right arm was in severe pain. I mean, it was really bad. The pain was all the way down my right arm to my right thumb. They had to reposition me 3 times. I was on that table for at least an hour, and at the end of the treatment, I couldn't even feel my right thumb anymore. It was numb, and my right arm felt like someone was putting a dagger in my shoulder. Number 4 is done. It's Friday. Let's go home. Well, that one was much easier by far.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking that pain pill beforehand made a world of difference. But yeah, they had it done in 2 seconds flat compared to last night. So let's get out of here. Let's
Yep.
go home.
Yeah.
Freaking out! What are you making?
Charlie,
You don't know what to do yourself.
Oh, what do I do? Hi. Oh.
okay, we're home. We're home.